likes cookies. Well, this is chocolate no-bake cookies. Some people call them oatmeal no-bake cookies. Some people call them haystacks. There's a lot of different names for these cookies. So, but they're really easy. Okay, here's the ingredients all set out. All right, and the first ingredients, of course, is your oatmeal. So you need 3 cups of oatmeal. You need a half a cup of milk. You need 2 cups of sugar. You need a half a cup of peanut butter, and I always like to get a little extra peanut butter in mine because I like peanut butter. You have 3 tablespoons of cocoa, and you have 1 stick of butter. I like to use real butter, okay? No margarine or any of that good stuff like that. So now what we're going to do is mix all these together in this pan right here. And the secret to success with this is you have to make sure that you cook it for exactly 1 minute. After it starts to boil, you put it on a timer for 1 minute. Not any more than that, not any less than that, because if you do, the cookies won't set up right, and I'll show you that later. So what we're going to do now is we're going to mix in the first 4 ingredients, which is your sugar, your milk, your peanut butter, and your butter. We're going to do those first. There's the sugar, and in goes our milk and our peanut butter. Good old peanut butter. Like I said, I like to use a little extra peanut butter in mine because I've always liked peanut butter, and I think these it just makes for a little bit better cookie is all. Okay, get that out of there. Get it all, okay? And then we're going to add our stick of butter. Very good. Now, we're going to get this going real good, and break up your peanut butter or your butter stick, and we're going to let this heat up real good and bring it to a boil. Now what I like to do after it just starts to boil, just when it starts boiling, to add your cocoa. And mix that in real good, and then put it on the timer for 1 minute. And oh, this smells so good when it's cooking. The chocolate and the peanut butter mixed together. Okay, we're right at 1 minute there on the cookies. And after you've had them boiling for exactly 1 minute, you want to take them off the heat. Okay, and you're going to add your oatmeal. Turn that off. Add your oatmeal in while she's nice and hot. Mix that in real good. That's looking like what we want right there. Like I said, it's important that you just go 1 minute on the boiling of the cookies, because if you go longer, it'll get hard when you set them up, and they'll be breaking apart and be like a hard cookie. If you don't go long enough, then they won't set up at all and they won't hold together. So it's very important that you go exactly 1 minute. Okay.
Action.
We got to have some wax paper to put your cookies on, so we roll out about that much should do it. Okay. Bring the cookies over, and we're going to make them, lay them out on your cookie sheet, or your wax paper, I mean. Just like that. Now remember, you got to shape them how you want them, because once they get done, they'll be just the way you shape them. So, just like that. See? These are going to be perfect. You notice the nice little shiny texture, bright. Let's do them. And of course, depending on how big you make your cookies, on how many you'll have. Oh, these smell so good. If you do it right, these are so delicious. And again, like I said, it's so important that you remember that you've got to cook them exactly 1 minute. You can't cook any less, and you can't cook any more. Because if you cook it longer than that, they'll get hard. If you cook them less than that, they won't set up, and it won't be firm enough to even be able to hold them in your hand. So it takes about 10-15 minutes for them to really set up where you could grab one and eat it, but definitely within 30 minutes you'd be able to walk out the door eating a cookie without it being so moist. And like I said, you know, it depends on how many or how big you make your cookies is to the amount of cookies you'll have per batch. Usually I'll get about 12 to 15 out of my batch, because I like to make them pretty big. And boy, there's nothing like one of these in a cold glass of milk. Okay, so here we are. It's been about 15 minutes. Our cookies are all set up, and you can see you can pick them up. They're nice and firm, but yet soft, and so good and nice and chewy. We'll see you next time, right here in Mr. Ron's kitchen.